That's an American joke. No.
Do a filibuster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. So I'm Joseph Smarr from Plaxo, and we're very passionate about this whole opening up of the social web because our goal is to sort of help users, connect up the different facets of their lives and stay in touch with the people that they care about. And we've always had a very mainstream audience, and so I think we're very aware of the limitations that most users don't conceptualize as a problem with standards and specs and interoperability. They just, it's like, oh, I don't know how to see the photos that my family members are sharing. It's like, well, why is that? Well, some of them are using Flickr, some of them are using Picasa, some are making it public, some are making them private. And how do I find them? How do I get access to them? How do I say, oh, this person is my brother, they should be able to have access to things that are my family? And yet those are all very basic user cases, right? But when you actually think about what it takes to accomplish those, it's exactly the kind of stuff we're working on, right? The OpenID, sort of saying, here's how I can prove that I really am this person, so when I go to some new site, it's not re-provisioning the people all over again. It's saying, if I said this guy is my brother, and he can say, oh, I really am that same person, that permission can go across, right? There's OAuth, which is, how do I give access to private photos, where I can go in and say, I want to share these photos with people who I've labeled as family over here. And this person can not only say who they are, they can now get a token and access this information that's not public, right? Or having common specs for, think about data portability of photos. There's no good photo standard, right? So I can go in, even if I can get access to the data, I now have to write custom plugins for every single site. And if I want to start hosting them on my own blog or whatever, there's no good standard, right? But you can imagine, whether it's in a version of Media RSS or Atom Pub or something, there could be standards for, here's what my address book looks like, here's what my calendar looks like, here's what my photos look like. And you start to stitch these together, and all of a sudden, I think it makes the kind of scenarios that we just talked about that we wanted really possible. And in fact, it's kind of amazing. I've been coming to these things now for a couple of years, and for a long time, there was a lot of the same people here, but it was very much the sort of idealistic, let's kind of figure out the cryptography and what we could do in theory, and maybe someday we can get the big players to play with it. Here we are in early 2008. Yahoo is an OpenID provider. Yahoo, Google, Microsoft, they're all supporting OAuth. Right? All these people have actual contact APIs now. You don't have to scrape Gmail anymore. I mean, it's like things are actually moving faster than we might have even possibly imagined. And I'm a very optimistic person. It's moving faster than I expected, right? And so I think actually people are really taking the lead from this community now, and they're really asking us what to do. And actually, I'm a little nervous that we're about to run out of runway. Whereas before we had all these ideas and it was like, oh, but we'll never get the people to understand about user-centric identity. And it's like, no, they actually are doing it right now, And so I think when you actually start to figure down the line, the sort of stuff we were talking about of, well, how do I combine OpenID and OAuth and data sharing, and where do we need more standards for things to interoperate, and what do we do about privacy and revoking permissions, and you actually sort of think about the next level of thing that you have to do, there's actually a lot of good, meaty problems that this community would be perfect to solve. And I think we all, of course, have already drunk the Kool-Aid that this sort of thing is the right thing to do, and so I think it's the perfect time for us to start having those sort of next generation of discussions, because I think, trust me, the big guys are going to be ready for that stuff before you know it. And that's actually a really good problem for us to have. It's no longer the kind of shouting in the corner and hoping that somebody cares. That people are caring, and it's now time for us to really continue to lead. So I'm very excited about this time that we're at right now.
So